Oh Lord.
CJ, what you doing? What's up? What's going on? What's really good?
A long ass story, bro.
It's not, you gotta tell everything. You don't gotta
I'm just trying to think like where I'm gonna start and
but all right, you start from when you left me, right? I ain't seen you since 2009, right?
He said when you left me, I'm
You
dying.
left me. In 2009, you left Yap, you was broke. That's the last I remember.
oh shit.
So then,
Yeah.
all right, so then when Jasmine tells me what y'all doing, and she said, no, Leslie paid now. I said, word? What she paid doing? And you doing exactly what I wanted to get into. So I said, oh shit, hook me up with Leslie. So I didn't know you was doing that. So how would you get into everything you doing? Like what the fuck happened since 2009? The last time I seen you you was chilling.
I'll blow my shit.
Like, when you moved away from here, you wasn't doing this yet, right?
Mm-mm.
So what did you
When
do?
I moved away from here, I moved away for grad school.
You went to grad school for what?
Counseling, mental health counseling.
Mm-hmm.
And so I graduated. I did that for a while. And of course, you probably heard this before, but it didn't pay that well. And when I found out how much they were making in comparison to what I was making, I quit to do real estate. And did that for maybe about 6-9 months before I was like, wow, this is a lot of work. And eventually, fast forward like a year, I found some Forex trainings, took a couple of those, and I had like fleeting success with Forex. I would make a lot of money and then I would lose a lot of money. So it was not something that could sustain my lifestyle. But fortunately, I had become friends with Mr. T, James Tompkins, Mr. Tompkins, the founder of the Abakuas on Facebook. And I decided to reach out and inquire about his course, the Abakuas course, which at that time was delivered on YouTube, I think every Saturday. And it was like $20 a month. So that probably was 2004, I'm guessing 2005, something like that. It took me a couple years to finish it because it was a lot longer, a lot more videos at that time. And then in about 2017, we put out a class about Bitcoin. And once I learned about Bitcoin, I just became obsessed with investing and saving. I cut my spending, and every dollar that I could find, I invested in either my Circle of 20, which we do in the Abakuas core class, or I invested it in cryptocurrency. And now I'm able to be a full-time options trader.
So what is that? What's Circle of 20? What's Abakuas?
So a Circle of 20, we go through the process of learning how to evaluate companies and evaluate companies' financial statements to determine whether or not they are solid investments, whether or not we should buy their stock. And then the Circle of 20 is a portfolio of 20 companies that we, identify during that research process using the tools and the metrics that we learn in the Abakuas core. So the Circle of 20 is my first stock portfolio. It is a dividend only portfolio. Every stock in there pays dividends, and I will leave that portfolio to my children and my grandchildren. So now I have like probably 9 stock portfolios invested in about 160 companies. And like I said, I just maintain my obsession with investing in shares of good companies and solid cryptocurrencies.
So are you still a counselor?
No, I think the last time I worked as a counselor was like 2013. I told you that I left the field to pursue a career in real estate, a brief career in real estate. And I think that was like 2013.
So do you have a job? What's your job?
I'm a day trader. And and an Abakuas team leader. And so I think everybody knows what day trading involves. I trade stock options. There are a lot of different things that you can trade, but for the most part, Abakuas members trade stock options. What else did I want to say? Oh, and Abakuas team leader is basically me mentoring people through the process of using the Abakuas to learn to trade and invest. So if anybody is interested in taking the Abakuas course, you can definitely reach out to CJ. And CJ will let you know what you need to do to become a member of the Abakuas and learn how to evaluate and analyze companies, select good stock, and eventually, hopefully, become a full-time stock options trader.
Well, so of course y'all signed me up, and so y'all are helping me get to where I'm trying to get to where you at, where I don't work at all. Right, that's my actual goal. Like I don't want to have to cut hair unless I want to. You know what I mean? But a lot of people don't, like when I've had these conversations with people, they don't believe that it's actually possible to sustain a living off of day trading. You know what I mean? So for years when I was learning how to invest my money, I always was taught to buy and hold and to stay away from day trading and stuff because it was ultimately not something that was sustainable. You know what I mean? How were you able to get to a point where you were able to keep up and make this a lifestyle for yourself?
So I think a part of it was early on, like I said, putting a lot of my income into investments. So I have a lot of assets. That is a tremendous help and a tremendous relief. And also I started learning Forex in probably 2013 or 2014. So I, to be honest, kind of had an advantage or a head start on a lot of you guys that are starting the Abakuas and trying to learn to trade options because I already understood a lot about charts. So for like 7 years of experience and education and training, learning has made it a lot easier for me. And then like the compounding stuff and some of the stuff that we learned in the Abakuas just kind of was like the icing on the cake. So it's not, I always say that people can do it in 2 years, but then I've seen people go from having a job to full-time trading and Abakuas team leader in like 9 months, less than that, 6-9 months.
Yeah, that's not me. I'm full-time.
I think a lot of that had to do with COVID too. So
yeah, I mean, it's just one of those situations where if you're in a position or in a situation where you have a lot of time to devote to learning and time to be sitting in front of the charts during the day, then you're in a much better situation.
I think CJ said something when he said that people don't think that it's sustainable or that it's possible to do it. And with the Abakuas, I just think that we're making it possible.
Right. Like, so many of us are doing it.
Yeah, we're doing it. We're showing people that we're doing it. And we're showing people that the knowledge is out there. Like, you know what I mean? You don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars in order to learn the information that you need to learn, you know?
Yeah.
For me, when I first got introduced to this, like I said, I've been buying stocks for years, but like my thing was always just buying consistently, monthly, buying the same stocks, just holding them, you know. And I had got introduced to someone who before I got reconnected with you, I didn't know that you were doing this, but I had started meeting people that's what they were doing, so somebody had pointed me, you know, they say, why don't you go to Online Trading Academy? So I went up there, I did a little trial class thing, paid $300 for 3 days, and I ain't learned shit. And all they were really trying to teach me was they showed you some basic stuff. You just watch them trade. They tell you what they would teach you if you sign up for the full class. And then the full class was like $22,000. You know what I mean? And I was like, nah, hell no, I'm not doing that. So I went online and I started looking all over YouTube, because I knew people that were trading and were making big money, and I just couldn't fathom myself, like, it actually being applicable to myself. So when I started going on YouTube and all online, I'm looking the Warrior Trading, Adam Koo, I'm looking at Investors Underground, all these classes, they all look real, but they were still $5,000, $6,000. I didn't find nothing in my price range. And I'm like, so I was kind of skeptical because a lot of people were telling me like, well, a lot of these people, they're making their money from the classes than they are. And I don't know if that's true. That's probably not true, but that's what it looks like. Like, people are making their money off scamming people for classes. And so it just so happened one day, so I'm in the barbershop, I'm cutting Jasmine. And I'm just being nosy, cool. So I'm cutting Jazz hair, and I see she got the phone out, and she got Robinhood up. So I'm just like, what the hell you buying? You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking we're going to have a conversation about stocks. And so when she told me she's buying options, I said, oh, shit, I want to learn how to do options. I told her about me going to school or whatever. So then she says, yeah, Leslie do that. It's like, oh, shit. And she's like, yeah, man, Leslie fucking killing them, man. She like Nino Brown out this bitch. So I'm like, what?
Yo,
Like,
those was the good days.
yeah. So I'm like, she making money like that. She like, yo, you need to talk to her. I was like, oh, I ain't know that. So she's like, yo, you heard of the Abakuas? I'm like, yo, what the fuck is Abakuas? Never heard of James Tompkins? And I don't know fuck James Tompkins is. I don't know. Never heard of these people. What are you talking about? But I knew Leslie. So when she told me, and it's when I hit you, and I'm like, oh, okay, I believe it now because this is somebody I actually know. You know what I mean? So most of the people that I knew that were day trading, they make a couple of dollars here, a couple of dollars there, or they had money handed down to them. I know one of my friends, he flipped his income tax from like, 10 grand to like 160. Like, and I'm like, all right, I didn't know where to start. Like, where, so once you introduced me to this stuff, and I had no idea that this existed. So on my social media, what I've been trying to do is, not to sell people on this, because it's not like a sales pitch thing. I hate when people, try to sell me on shit, but it's more so trying to get my family and my friends and people that I know to take more serious interest in it. And I'm like, I already had the YouTube page and stuff, so I figured I'd start incorporating more of that into this. So, but I think people like you, like most of the people that I've met that have quit their jobs and transitioned to day trading and investing like as a full-time thing, I think it's intriguing. I just wanted to get those stories out more. So because that, anytime you talk to people, like when I see any of the other Abakuas videos and they're all dope, it's just when I'm talking to people in a barbershop, they want to know numbers. Like and that's when I've never seen nobody do videos where they just keep it 100 and tell, listen, man, you can leave your job. You can be making this if you do this. Not saying
Exactly. So if you think about, we'll do 20%. And CJ, I know you know from your experience with John that it's easy to do 20% a day. So if you were to do 20% on 10,000 in a month, every month, that's $2,000 in your first month. I know that's enough to cover my expenses, but it just depends on how much you're starting with. But always think in terms of like 20% and go from there. In terms of that, I make enough to sustain myself trading. And I think anybody can, given like a year. CJ, I just, what's been your experience? Let me ask you that, since you talked a lot about Abakuas. Now I want to interview you. What's been your experience with trying to learn to make the transition from barber to full-time trader?
For me, I had to separate my accounts first. That was I did that from the rip. Like so my long-term accounts, I put all my retirement money into my circle of 20. So once I completed the course and I really picked my circle of 20 companies, like this might be against what a lot of people tell new traders to do, but I don't paper trade. I don't do none of that. Like I need to feel the real money. You know what I mean? So I started off with my real money and I put it in my circle of 20. And then, like I said, my percentages went up on the circle of 20 money, on my retirement money. So then I have a medium term account. So my medium term account, the same thing. I put real money in there and I picked real stocks. And then so with my trading, I separated my trading into a scalping account and I have a swing trade account. So I scalp on E-Trade, I swing trade. Well, at the time it was Robinhood. Now I'm on TD Ameritrade. So I separated all those. So the way that I approach every setup, I put certain amount of money for each account. And so if I mess the money up, I mess the money up. But it's a learning experience for me. If I make money, I make money. And then when everything I make, I take and I invest in my long-term accounts. So this is what I'm trying to do to figure out what kind of trader I am and what works best for me. Because everything, I'm horrible at scalping. I'll be honest with you. I've learned and I've seen the money that I've lost trying to scalp. I've made really good money. And then some days I'll really mess it up. And then there's other days where I'll pick really good companies and in my swing trade account and I might catch something at the bottom and I'll sell it right at the right time. So I've been really good with that. So I'm just trying to figure out what exactly I'm successful with, what works for me before I commit 1,000% to just doing one thing. Or it might be a multitude of things. But my initial goal was if I can make $100 every day before I make it to the barbershop, because that's how I counted my money at the barbershop. Like every day I have a certain goal. So I've hit that goal, I've exceeded it, and I've had days like this week been terrible for me. So in the market. So I'm trying to figure out, it might not be 100 a day. It might, because like I said, when you talk percentages, like to people like me or when people that's in a barbershop, when I'm talking to them, they don't understand percentages. And I didn't understand percentages. So like me, I might get 50% on something, and if it only looked like $38 or $50, I'm like, man, that shit was $38. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's the same way when I talk to them. I'm learning to make that transition to understand, but what's worked for me, especially when I've signed people up for the Abakuas, is when I've showed them, because the first thing they always ask me, like, well, if I put money in something, do I have to leave my money in there? Can I take it out? Can I spend it? Like, because they don't understand. So what's worked for me when I'm talking to these people is putting it in layman's terms that they can understand. And I'm like, yo, what was dope, I love when we're on Facebook and the Abakuas members put their receipts up, not because I'm impressed by the amount of money that's being made, but that's something I can show, and it's inspiring and motivating to other people that aren't familiar with the stock market at all. Because when I tell you the conversations that we have in the barbershop, every day there's young brothers and women that come into the shop. Even today, I sat and listened to a whole conversation about people talking about scamming. Everybody's looking to make money. And I say the same, I say, yo, man, y'all need to learn the stock market. Like, come on, take this class. But they don't see that that's tangible. So I'm hearing conversations about gambling. I'm hearing about sports betting, scamming, and I tell all the crypto trading, they'll do all of that, but nobody is taking an active approach in understanding the market. And that's why I wanted, like, all right, man, let's start doing some videos, and that way we can target them to the people that really need to hear them. You know what I mean? Because, everybody isn't coming from the same background,
Yeah, it's crazy because trading is one thing, but I made a tremendous return just on the shares that I bought over these, say, 3 years. So yeah, I don't, especially when it's so available now with the Abakuas and it's so inexpensive or so cheap, for what it is that you learn. I can't understand why more people don't take advantage of it. But just always glad that I did, because it put me in such a better position. Um, what can I say?
People got to understand how percentages work too. I was never a percentage person either. But when you're talking, 10% on $100, versus 10, I'm sorry, not 10%, but at least 20% on $100 and 20% on $1,000, and 20% on $10,000, it's a big difference. You know what I mean? So when you first starting out, if you choose 20% to be your goal, and you only have, $500 or $100 even, that's your practice. That's your, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, you shouldn't do that. If you only have $100, you shouldn't be trying to attempt to
But
trade.
like 10% on 1,000 is CJ's $100 a day.
True, very true,
Mhm.
very true.
And 10% is easily attainable. You know what I'm
10%.
saying?
If you're
Yep.
not greedy, like me, I don't be knowing how to get out of stuff fast enough. Like, cause I'll sit there like, man, that shit gonna go.
People be like, "Oh, I got 10%. Oh, I got 20%. Wait a minute,
That's me. Sometimes they catch me and I just be like a spectator, like,
let me see if I can get 50%." And
just stuck watching.
then start dropping.
Mhm.
So between the percentages, learning how to trade percentage as opposed to dollar amounts, and the psych behind trading. Those I think are the biggest issues that people have to tackle. The psych behind option trading is the
That's
biggest.
the part.
That's it. It's 90% of trading. So, but first you got to get the knowledge, right?
Right.
Mhm.
I don't know. Okay, I just want to ask one last question. CJ, do you agree that is probably the biggest part of why you're still trying to, I guess, kind of develop your style, is because of the mental part or the psychological part, emotional part?
Absolutely. Like the psychological and emotional part is the most important thing. But I'm different, man, because like I know it's not that, like, some people they'll, especially in the groups, they be like, oh man, you just a gunslinger or whatever. And it's not, I know I got that reputation, but it's not that. It's that the money I put for scalping is for me to learn how scalping fits me. So I might take a big swing in the scalping account. You know what I mean? But in my swing trade, I'm not so much. Like, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes, and then I had to learn different stocks. Like, I remember when I first started, this is back in March, I remember being in a group with you when I seen you buying Tesla contracts. At the time, I didn't really know nothing about Tesla as a company, but I just didn't want to trade it. Like, and then once the first time I did it and I saw how much the return was, like, oh shit, I gotta trade this motherfucker more often. You know what I'm saying? And then
You
it was,
lost.
it was going well until I started losing. You know, I took it. When I see my year to date on Tesla, I'd be like, damn, I lost. I mean, I made more than I lost, but I lost a lot. You know what I mean? So for me, it's still, I know I'm not, I'm a better swing trader than I am a scalper, because I a lot of times I don't, not that I don't have time, because I devote time where I actually sit there and look at the market every day. I actually enjoy it, but I can't play, like, I'll be in 5, 6 different positions at one time, and I just can't keep up with all of them at the same time. And so that's where the swing trading works better for me. I mean, and me understanding what the market's doing every day. Like, and that those are all things. Even with me taking the DMR class and learning how to pick companies, and I talk to different traders and see what their styles are, and everybody's style is different. I didn't really understand what that meant when I first signed up. When I first started doing it, and you tell me, well, my style is like this, or so-and-so style is like that. At the time, I didn't understand. Now I totally understand. Like, I totally get it. And so I'm just trying to figure out what works best for me. But I know the one thing that I have to concentrate the most on is me just exiting positions when it's time to. Me getting the feel and knowing, not having an emotional attachment to this stop. But like I told you before, I laugh and joke with myself. I've been the same way like that in relationships. So I know I'm emotional. So like, I don't always end shit when it should be ended. So I mean, it's the same thing in my trading. So it's teaching me lessons, and I'm learning, and you know.
And I posted that. Well, I kind of posted that, like, can't teach you everything, or some stuff that nobody can teach you. And a part of that is determining what your style is, what's most suitable to your psyche and your emotional makeup and all that. And then I ain't even gotta tell you, CJ, but setting your orders.
Yeah.
Like, once your buy order execute, just setting your sell order is a surefire way of combating that issue. But
you know what the issue was with me and stop losses was like, once I learned how to do them, I learned a long time ago, right? The problem was I got a small account. So I got a small account and I got a cash account. So I can only do but so many trades in a day, right? So if I put that stop loss in, and then if I made it too tight, then it's going to knock me out to position too fast. If I set it too high, then I'm going to lose too much money. So what ended up happening, I get knocked out of position too fast. And if I might every day, I might only have about 4 or 5 trades before I can't trade no more because my cash is unsettled. So I'm like, the hell with that stop loss, because I ain't gonna be able to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? Because it's gonna knock me out and I ain't gonna be able to play the rest of the day. So, but that back then too, that was because I didn't understand the charts. Now, and I ain't good at the charts yet, but I'm understanding it better. I'm knowing what I'm looking at, I know what to look for. So I have a better realization of better expectation of where that price is gonna bounce back at. Where before I didn't know. Like, I see that joint running up, I'm thinking, it's gonna keep running up. Or I see it going down, I think it's just gonna keep going down. So now I understand support and resistance and all these other things a lot better than I did in the beginning or even in the middle. So I have a better range. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the guy that, like, I don't like drawing all them lines on that chart because that shit just is confusing as hell. So, a lot of times I have my own way, like, I'm figuring it out. But putting all that shit on there, that just confuses the hell out of me,
But you still have to set limits. I mean, like, now that you know, or now that you can read the charts better, you should be able to use your stop losses a lot better. So that goes back to the whole percentage thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are you at this point? You're probably past 20%. If you could get 30% a day off of, I don't know, what, $1,000, right? I mean, that's a pretty penny. If you can get that every day for the same amount of money, then why not set your stop loss every day for 30%, and don't worry about anything that that surpasses that, or that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
You've reached your goal and you've gotten what you said, $100 a day. So if you got $1,000 in your account,
Not the goal no That's not the goal no more. I want the most every day.
Yeah, that's me though. That's just real honest.
That's that psych right there. That's messing you up.
Maybe.
Excuse me, that's messing us up. Because don't get me wrong, I do the same thing sometimes too. But if we can master that 10, 20, 30%, whatever your number is a day off of your 1,000, 5,000, 100, whatever amount of money that you have, and compound that money, you know what I mean? You can compound that and you're still making 30%, but now you're making 30% off of $1,300 as opposed to $1,000. And now you're making it off of, I don't know, 1,600. I don't know what the math is on that, but whatever the math is, once you start compounding it, if you could do that every day, you're still only getting 30, you're still only doing 30%.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even, I don't think that it should be 30%. I think that 10 or 15% is like more than
I just threw a
reasonable.
number out there. Absolutely. I just threw a number out there. Whatever number you're comfortable with, find that number, find that figure, and use that number to compound your
Listen, I've seen 3% be a whole lot.
I know you have. I know you have. I'm trying to be like you one day.
Oh my
I
God.
grow up, I want to be like you.
Yeah, me too.
And it's crazy too. The other thing that is interesting is like when you up 3%, it ain't nothing like, oh, that's bullshit. When you down 3%, that same 3% is altogether different.
Yep.
So it's consider that when you not closing them trades out.
No, you're right. I mean, overall though, like I said, I don't make because I have one friend of mine, and as soon as I start talking about on social media and stuff, he reached out to me, bro. You need to be careful, man, with the day trading. I'm telling you, it's addiction. You're gonna mess your mind. I said, bro.
Yes, it is.
But that's not my problem. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what I'm pushing to my people either. So like my thing more than anything is my long-term money. You know what I mean? And that's what I've always saved money and invested money on a weekly basis. So I ain't never putting the horse before the cart. I mean, the cart before the horse. So like me, I got my priorities straight. So the money that I pump into the one, I ain't really pumping. I'm gonna put some money in my account, and then that's what that's for. And if you mess it up, you just got to get it back to where it was. But I'm not borrowing money and stealing money from somebody to go scout. Like I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
But that's what people are, when they say stuff like that, they're thinking that trading is just a hit or miss. They think that you're trying to get in and get out and not do it anymore, or you're trying to get a quick hit, where it's not at all. First of all, like you said, you have to understand the investing part first, understand about investing, and then once you learn options trading, you're not in this just to be taking a lick and then be gone. Like, nah, this is a for life thing. This is a forever ever. I ain't trying to work ever again type thing. If I could do this over and over and over again, and I don't got to go to jail for it. Like, if you can rob somebody over and over and over again, or you sell somebody crack over and over and over and over and over and over again,
That's typically how it goes.
Huh?
I said that's typically how it goes.
Right. You do it over and over again until you get caught, you get locked up, you did whatever the case may be, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you got to figure out what you're going to do after that. Like, are you going to make a change, or are you going to keep doing the same thing and running the same risk? But this is different. This is not that. This is trying to make this is a lifestyle. This is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? Making a living off of this. This is a business.
And the thing for me, with one of the things I did learn when I was going to online trading academy is like you'll go you watch these movies and you see Wall Street and you see the Wolf of Wall Street and all that, and you think like this is something the scammers are doing and shit. But the reality is, a lot of these big corporations, this is how they make their money too. They make their money from trading. You go thinking that, say, IBM making all their money from computer chips, and it's not. They're trading stocks and options and futures with other companies too. And a lot of you actually look into their financial records, a lot of their money comes from their investments that they put in the other companies. And so
I need them to start trading right now.
Yeah.
Because the market is sitting still. I need them to start doing something.
Exactly. But, to me, that's what made me say, nah, I got to get over whatever people were trying to scare me away from, because the whole world is getting down like this. And, you know, I'm late to the party, but yo, nah, and then real talk, this is work for my business too. You know what I'm saying? So the way my business is structured, I have accounts set up for my business, and I trade, not really trade, but I invest for my business. So I invest on my personal level. I invest in my children. So, you know, the money can't just, you know, I was always raised like, yo, take a little bit of money and save it and keep this for a rainy day. But the reality is it ain't growing just sitting there. You know what I mean? So, you know, like, yeah, I appreciate both of y'all, and I definitely thank Jasmine for hooking me back up with you, and I appreciate you for introducing me to the Abakuas. If it wasn't for that, I'd have been, you know, I'd be standing up forever, cutting hair, the rest of my life.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yeah, appreciate you for giving it a chance, because so many people are like, you know, hesitant, reluctant, hyper skeptical. That's what I call us, hyper skeptical.
Yeah.
That they scared to spend a little bit of money to learn something that, quite frankly, we say it's changed my life or whatever the case may be, but I mean, other than putting you all in my business, it's not anything else that I can say. I don't do anything that I don't want to do. Mm-hmm. Me and Jay has been able to do not a lot, but like a lot of traveling this year compared to the amount of traveling that we've done in the like 25 years that we've known each other.
Right.
So yeah, things are good, and all as a result of learning how to invest, and then becoming passionate about investing, and then learning how to trade.
Yeah, people don't realize you have to treat this like a business. This is your business, and you have to treat it like your business. You can't just try to learn something in 3 months and then think that you're about to rule the world, you know, in 3 months. There's ongoing, there's just so much to learn. There's so much to freaking learn.
Damn right. They've been doing this for what, 300 years?
Yeah. Passing it down to their own children, not giving us a taste of nothing. So, right. This is our time. This is our chance to take advantage of the internet.
This is what I know, and this is what I think is probably the single most important thing, because it's the one thing that I can guarantee, is that my kids, my grandchildren will be straight. At some point, my kids will be straight too, because whether I die or I live to keep trading every day or whatever the case may be, that life insurance is popping. So my kids will be straight, but my grandkids will be straight. I just have to ensure that they know how to invest and trade. My one daughter has finished the Abakuas course. She got a circle of 20. She invests in it every week. My oldest daughter is like, what you think about Forex? So, yeah, she messaged me, and I didn't have the number saved, so I'm like, told her what I would tell anybody else.
Because people always ask about Forex.
It's like anything else though. I think that the problem with that is people think, like Jazz said, you're supposed to be in somebody's training for 90 days and then you're gonna be able to make a living out of trading Forex, and the shit just don't work like that. So
yep, you gotta practice, you gotta put time into it, you gotta be dedicated to it. You have to be
and I'm gonna be honest, that's what I never wanted to do. Mm-hmm. You know, Forex, when I learned Forex, it was 100% about charts. And I never wanted to spend time looking at charts, looking back at charts. And until I did that, I didn't have any real like lasting or consistent success. So, and I'm 6-7 years in now. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, CJ, for putting us all together. Thank you for believing in us.
No, thank
right?
You for finally showing up. I appreciate
you. You said for finally showing up. Yeah, you're so funny, CJ.
Ooh, hilarious.
All right, that wasn't so bad, right?
Wait, you dyed Jasmine's hair?
No, I did not do that. Nope. It ain't popping.
CJ, when you gonna do my hair?
I'm waiting for you to come down here. You have to come.
You're not scared?
I'm not scared.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure Mika come. Mika's gonna come and she's gonna walk me through everything.
Okay, I'm gonna get grew by Mika.
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole joint. I just need her to certify me, so all these chicks are know certified in that.
Okay.
Mika,
all right, well, we gotta set it up because I know she's not there all the time.
No, she's not here all the time, but I'm gonna call her tonight and see when she.
And let me know. And
why you want to get certified, CJ? You ain't gonna want to do hair once you start doing hair.
Yes, I am. Look, man. I just like mastering all the trades that I get into. That's all. That's my goal. Like once I become a master trader and I have plenty of money, then I'm going to culinary school because I can cook. And I'm never going to work in the kitchen. I'm just going to go so I can be like, yeah, I'm the best fucking chef around this joint. I don't even work.
Can you cook for us?
Yes.
Will you cook for us?
I will cook for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Listen, we need to get this popping.
I got 2 lobsters in my refrigerator right now. I was going to cook them, but then y'all decided to show up for this, so I'm going to cook them tomorrow. I'm tired.
Get on my nerves.
Yeah. Okay.
Whatever.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.